Hello, Internet. Welcome back again. It's a very, I hope you are doing fine. It's a Sunday evening. Today, I actually shared with you the preseason. It was a quick one, 13-minute video. And today, I will cover the first 10 games analysis for the new season of Oxford City. Now, Oxford City, we have kickstart the season with a certainty better prepared than compared to last season. And this is the second season I'm with them. So without further ado, I'm actually going to share with you the highlights and of course what went right, what went wrong, and there's a special feature, and that feature is more of the abilities in Football Manager, where you can actually have a team report where I can share with you is that it gives you a lot of insights and good knowledge of what's going on in your team and what you can do with it. So without further ado, let's get started. So in the last season, first 10 league games, we didn't have a good start to the season, but this time around we had a great start to the season, and that is shown in the fixture list. If you look at the fixture list, the results that we managed to achieve is fantastic. We have registered out of 10 league games, 7 wins, a draw, and 2 defeats, and we have a stabilized defense which considered only 5 goals. So compared to that last season, where we averagely conceded 11 to 12 league goals in consecutive 10 games. So this is a huge improvement by 50%. I'm very pleased with the defense stability that we have established, especially in the partnership of our centre backs, and of course the goalkeeper and the 2 fullbacks have actually played a lot of role together with support from the midfield. And on top of that, we have a very productive attack as compared to last season, and this season our attack has yielded for the first 10 league games 17 goals. Now that is almost the same as what we had consistently have last season, from an average of 17 to 19 goals scored in consecutive 10 matches. This time we maintain it, 17 goals. That is a consistency we are driving towards for the first 10 league games, and that's an average of 1.7 to 1.8 goals per game, which is a healthy return after a huge investment in effort. Of course, not really money, but it's more of an effort to actually contribute to this early yield of goals. We are also winning games that are supposed to be winning, and we have actually matched the tough opposition. So this is a huge leap of improvement as compared to last season. But of course, in the later part of last season, we actually managed to match the tough teams. But of course, the landmark here is to maintain that consistency to match the very best of what the league can offer. And this time around, we have managed to actually win against opposition that we're supposed to win. So I will actually share with you the highlights of which matches are going to be shown in my YouTube channel. There are 3 key games of which I felt is a defining moment for the first 10 league games. Now the league table standings, as I've mentioned, we've won 7 games, we've drawn 1, and we lost twice. And this, for the first time in this challenge, we actually lead the league table. Of course, the second place team, Haban and Waters, have actually a game in hand. So if they win that, they will actually go 2 points clear of us. But I'll take this anytime, all right? And it's something that give a high morale to both myself and the team virtually. So which is a fantastic start. A turning point of among these 10 league games is the 5th game, where we won 4-0. If you look at the previous on the previous slide, the 5th league game was against Eastbourne Borough, which we won 4-0. So 4-0, we actually attain a foothold into the top 5 in the league. So it's something that both myself and the team wouldn't want to actually give further ground to to our rivals, and that has actually give us a great head start to the season. And another thing I would like to share is that last season we were totally poor in terms of home games, and this time around a great start. Of 5 home league games we played, we've won all 5. That matters. Okay, that's a huge difference. Now consider the fact that that's 15 points out of 5 games, and it actually consists of the majority of points we've gained in the first 10 games out of 22 points. So 7 points came from away games, 15 points come from home games. So this is what I actually heavily shared in the past few videos. Home game matters, and the reason being because psychologically you are actually impacting the opposition in terms of coming and sense that it's not easy for you to win. Secondly, your team will have this sort of belief that they actually can inch a win against tough opposition, and of course snatching victories right by half time against winnable games. So this is a good progress that we've made. So first, we are first in the table, 1 point away, of course, against the second place team, although they have a game in hand, and we are 3 points away critically against Dartford, who are third in the league. So fantastic. We have this is something that I wouldn't actually want to trade anything at all. All right. Okay. Next to tactics and the multiplier. Now, what actually made these results possible was that our partnerships in central defense, midfield, and the right side of our formation is already established. So our players, which we actually built over a period of time from last season to this season, was that consistency in the same players in the same positions, the areas that we have strengthened, so that once this is strengthened, we can actually look at establishment on the left side of the team and the centre forwards. So we've yet to establish a spearhead partnership in attack and the left side of defence, because we had a new signing in the left back. Although our previous left back, Lewis Blackshaw, is a fantastic player, dominant air, but our new left back, Tolaji it's Bolawi, let's call him Bola. He's a young England youth international, which we actually managed to snap him for free from Arsenal, and he's the greatest buy for us right now, and he's fantastic. He can play either in the central defense, and of course primarily in the left back. He's fast, he's got strength, he wins the aerial challenges, and that actually cover up the lack of partnership yet to be established on the left hand side of the midfield of the formation. So in central defense, Gil covered Parker really well, and that partnership is being seen. If you look at my formation on the central defense, Michelle Parker is on is a central defense, and of course Ruben Gil, the additional part of him is that he's a covering central defender. So mostly if Michelle Parker loses the possession, Ruben Gil will cover him should there be any breakthrough from the opposition. So that is a good play tactically for us in the central defense, and it's very critical that we actually considered less for that kind of tactics. In the central midfield, Ashby, last season's player of the season for us, has actually developed well in his central deep line playmaker, and he combined well with Lucas Dawson. Dawson is quite inconsistent last season, but this season I've played him on a box-to-box central midfielder. So he's an all-action central midfielder who can drop deep in defense and push ahead with a counter-attack. So it's a Frank Lampard style of central midfield, if you want to have a like-for-like comparison. So that is good. Both players have a good work rate established, which means that we can be a match to any opposition who may have a additional central man. So that is a huge addition for us, despite the fact we have only 2 central midfielders. Great partnership. On the right itself, Brandon Barzy and Kieran Wiltshire, the winger, established a fantastic form of the formation itself. So whenever we are being attacked on the right, it's well covered by both players, because Wiltshire is a very physical right winger who can actually drop back and defend. But if we win possession, we will actually launch quick counter-attacks, because both players are quite pacey, they are quite fast, and they have high work rates for us to actually launch tirelessly against the opposition. So most of our goals actually come from on the right hand side of the pitch. So that is very well established for our formation itself. But of course we will look to actually improve on the left side and the centre forward roles in the upcoming future. Now, squad changes. We actually have transfers in and out during the first 10 league games, and of course, I will cover more of the transfer out. We have about 6 under 18 players who are loaned out by the Director of Football, and one right winger sold again by the Director of Football. He was bought on a free transfer to Hampton and Richmond, our rivals, and the reason why I released him because he's not getting the minutes that he requested to play in. So it's better that we sell him off rather than we keep a player who's not really happy over a period of time. So that's a good move really, although we lose a talent. In a loan side, in a transfers in, we actually loan 2 players. A backup goalkeeper, that's one, because we've already have one established goalkeeper, and we loan in a goalkeeper from our main affiliate club, Burton Albion, and he's a very reliable standby goalkeeper. I really appreciate the way that he actually stands in for Luka Nakov when Nakov has an international duty, and we don't lose that kind of depth in goalkeeping department. So he is a coup for us to actually sign as a backup goalkeeper. One new centre forward, he is actually Sami Onprian. And Sami Onprian is actually a fantastic pressing centre forward. So we had a centre forward, Joe Thompson, who actually out for 5 to 6 months due to a knee ligament injury and during pre-season, and it doesn't bode well for us. So a quick signing for Sami Onprian. Luckily, we managed to squeeze through the finances. We got a very good player, high work rate. Again, that's a prerequisite for us pressing forward. Great pace, and in the contract terms was that he actually established a 15 goals incentive if he reached 15 goals. So I'll take him despite the fact it actually can burden us financially. But of course, we're looking at the long term, and I believe the board will actually back us with the finances. So he's a fantastic signing, and hopefully he will bear fruit to his attributes to prove that his signing could be a signing of a season. Featured matches in YouTube, I'm going to actually show 3 games that actually define the moment for the first 10 league games. First game, I will actually show Oxford City and Gosport, if I can actually pronounce that well, Gosport. We won 2-0. It is a game that we are supposed to win because they are newly promoted side to the Vanarama South, and we beat them thanks to 2 quick goals in the first half. So that was actually cast in stone that we won that game. In the second half, we actually had a lot of attempts on goal, but of course the strikers couldn't actually convert. So it is a headache for our centre forwards. We do need more goals coming from it against teams that we actually dominate totally. So there's pros and cons on winning that type of games. We should have won bigger because we need that goal difference in the later part of the season. Second game I'm going to show in my YouTube channel is Weymouth against Oxford. Now the reason being because in our back-to-back facing them, we never actually beat Weymouth. In fact, the last record was a draw and a defeat. So we are playing away against Weymouth, and the game highlight, we lost 1-0. And Weymouth actually have certain players that formerly played for us. So if you look in this slide on the Weymouth versus Oxford, we have Jamie Bradley Green, who was our centre back. He was motivated to play against us and eager to prove a point. So he actually won, and we lost a left winger in Zach McKittrick. He actually played a part in the build up to Weymouth's goal. So by and large, we actually had more chances if you look at the shots attempt, but apparently we couldn't actually match Weymouth in that stand. Last but not least, the league game against Oxford City and between Oxford City and Hemel Hempstead. The reason why, because Hemel Hempstead were actually in the third position if I recall, fifth, sorry, and we were on top of the league during this point of time, and we won. And we failed to beat Hemel Hempstead last season, so this season we actually prove a point by beating them 3-1, and 3 goals were scored in the first half. We actually wrapped the game in the first half. But of course, they actually struck back on the 33rd minute when we were having a 2-goal cushion. But we scored back right before halftime, so that was fantastic. In the second half, we contained their attacks to prevent them from actually inching back into the game. So it was a well-deserved victory for us. Now, last but not least, featured abilities in Football Manager 2020. I would like to actually share the featured abilities in terms of team report. And team report is something that will actually give you key insights on causes of performances, whether it's actually a good performance or bad performance in your team. So it will actually give you a rough idea which part of the team you need to actually strengthen and which part you need to keep it consistent. And there is a feature where there's an assistant report on the third tab after overview and analysis report. The assistant report is something where your assistant manager will report on the strengths and weaknesses in your current squad. So it might not be just in a player aspect. It will actually cover to you what are the key youth prospects that you have in your team and how much do you spend on your wages per week, and do you actually burst your budget, and is there any attributes in your team tactically that you need to actually improve on, so that you can actually look into training and try to improve on that aspect. And these are the main key things that you can actually it can actually help you in the game itself. The stats will also show you the strong and weak links in your current form, not just current form, also tactics as well. So my practice is that I will go to tactics itself. I will have a standby of 2 more types of formation and tactics, which I will need to actually practice and play on in order to actually change if there is a required to be against opposition, which may be many times of our strengths. So this feature ability of Football Manager is something that is further defined. So if you look at it, it is something that you can actually rely on. It is something in FM 2020 which you can give you a rough idea as a shortcut of how to improve your team. So do look up into this feature if you are playing Football Manager. If you just started Football Manager, look into it when you're going to start the season, especially in pre-season, and it will give you a good idea of how to improve your squad. So that's it for today for the video. I really appreciate you for viewing this video. Of course, if you go to my YouTube channel and view the matches, like the channel, subscribe to it, do give me your support, and of course, stay safe, stay healthy, be positive. Let's go through this tough period.